Hello everyone. So I'm Bonnie and I am a paper conservator, and to many people's disappointment I don't conserve trees or the environment. I conserve works of art on paper, so that can be anything to do from prints or drawings, manuscripts, photographs, or miniature paintings, which is what you can see here on this slide. So my role is to preserve the original. And to do this, I work in three fields, which I'll talk about today. So the first one is cultural and art history. The second one is science and materials technology. And the last one is artistic ability and application. So I'll start with my background in fine arts. So I went to the Victorian College of the Arts, and I was making a lot of intaglio prints, lithographs and artist books, and it was at this time that I really fell in love with using water and paper together, also manipulating paper, folding and tearing. At this time I also had a really great opportunity to travel to Japan and learn mokuhanga, which is a traditional Japanese woodblock printing technique. And so this is where I was able to use paper and pigments and water, but also first used starch paste. So paste is a paper conservator's #1 glue. So you can see here in the video, I'm making up some paste, and the image on the right is the sieved paste after it's cooked. I do this on a weekly basis, and I've probably made paste over 1,000 times. It's really the glue that holds the lab together. If it's undercooked or overcooked or mouldy, you'll have some upset paper conservators. So I've also dabbled in photographs. I'm really interested in their chemistry, and you can see here there's a silver gelatin portrait of the lovely skunky cat. I have a colour transparency at the top, some cyanotypes at the bottom, and actually a polymer plate photogravure that I made with Sylvie Couture, who will be doing a workshop here at the end of the month, I believe. And of course paper making. So here you can see a wet paper sheet that's been pulled from a vat of pulp. It's then cooched onto a felt, and the dry paper sheets on the right that I've made. So now this is a little bit of a segue into research of cultural and art history. So this is a paper making mould, and the two acorns in the corner, that's a watermark. And a watermark is a way that paper makers can brand their work. So I did a research project on Rembrandt's watermarks, looking at all the different varieties that he had in his prints. So the next slide shows a Rembrandt print that transitions to an X-ray of the paper that I've taken. And you can see that the X-ray reveals the watermark behind the printing ink, basically. And this is all connected to paper trade and paper history of the time. So for example, at the time Rembrandt living in Amsterdam, there was really little to no paper being made. So he sourced his papers from the cities that I've highlighted in red here. So from France, Germany, Switzerland. And we can tell this by the symbolism that's been used in the watermarks. So for example, the basilisk watermark is a symbol of Basel, the city in Switzerland. The beast itself, the Basel crozier below the beak, and then the house. And these symbols have been used in Switzerland since the early 11th century. We know that this paper is connected to the Huesler papermaking family working during Rembrandt's life. So I made a database of all Rembrandt's watermarks within the NGV collection. So if you're interested to learn more about their symbolism and which ones were found, you can go to the conservation research page via the NGV website. So the next area I'll talk about is science. And after 4 years at art school, science was really daunting to me when I was getting into conservation. But now I use it all the time. It's quite useful, and it's a great thing to apply to treatments, especially aqueous treatments. So here I'm making some solutions, adjusting the conductivity and the pH of the water. I then use these to turn into gels, which you can see little gel plugs on the right there. And each gel has a different pH and chelator. And a chelator is a salt that's included to target metal ions within a paper, which then helps to solubilize any kind of discolorations or metal if we're washing. The next print is a Hogarth print. This little doggy's getting a bath. And this print recently went on display. So I've just got to have a quick disclaimer here, don't try this at home unless you want your paper to turn into a pulp, and then you really will be recycling paper rather than conserving it. So some other analytical equipment that I use in the studio regularly, this is a microscope, and I'm looking at an early Byzantine manuscript, it's 11th century. And we use the microscope to really understand how objects are made and also how they age over time. So the next slide is a photo micrograph, so a photograph that's been taken using the microscope. And you can see the scale on the side there, so you can see like how much detail we can see. And in particular, I'm looking at the silver kind of iridescence here, which I believe is a lead sulfide caused by the lead white paint and arsenic-based paint in the illumination that you can see. We also use X-ray fluorescence or XRF. So this is basically a gun that shoots X-rays at the surface of an object to determine elements or minerals that are there. So we use this quite a bit. It's made a lot of appearances on Fake or Fortune, and you can tell it's a forged artwork. And so here I'm looking at gold, the frontispiece of the manuscript. The spectra in the top right corner, that's the XRF spectra, so it's like a unique pattern for gold, and that's how we can see how pure it is. So the last slide that I wanted to leave on today was a real career highlight for me. This is looking at Hokusai prints. I got to travel to Japan to look at over 150 of his works, and they were brought back to Melbourne for the, I think it was 27 exhibition. And here I'm looking at two matching impressions of the Great Wave off Kanagawa. This was a real treat, having learned mokuhanga. I hope today or this evening you've got to learn a little bit about the work behind the scenes. So thank you very much.